Roger, go for deploy.
Alrighty, back with here we are, back with Adam Rozenbachs, eh?
Mr. Rozan.
Yeah,
Rozenbachs.
Thanks for having me back.
yeah. Thanks for coming back.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I don't know if Rosie actually believes us that we've moved up in the world
Yeah,
off
that's right.
the couch, but we're back on the couch, and Rosie's probably like, yeah, well, you blokes are just bullshitting me, aren't you?
No worries, dickheads.
I know. It's so weird facing in the same direction and not looking at anything. Like we're not watching telly, we're not doing anything. We're just three fellas just hanging out.
Yeah.
Talking to each other.
Yeah, Rosie. So, mate, comedy festival.
Yeah, so Melbourne International Comedy Festival's on at the moment, and it's a fun time of year. Like, I love it. Melbourne's weather's been great, and Easter, it kicked off at Easter, and it's always weird. You want shitty weather, because if it's good, people go away.
Yeah.
So you want, not like terrible weather, but you want it so people don't think, oh, let's get out of town, but you want it to be in town and then think, oh, let's go out.
Yeah, you don't want 200k winds and hailstones.
Yeah. You don't want them staying in. Yeah.
You don't want bushfires all over the place.
No,
And now for the 17th hour, Adam Rozenbachs.
Yeah. So you just want them to not leave town. So it was a bit quiet in the opening weekend, which can tend to happen just because it's Easter, people get away, and fair enough. I'd want to go away if I wasn't doing comedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is Melbourne Comedy Festival? Because I agree, it's a great time of year. It's my favourite time of year. I love the comedy festival.
How many shows have you seen?
3.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I went opening night.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I go every year. Like, I'm going Saturday night. I'm going to go see Hughesy's show over the next week.
Yep.
I'll go to 10 shows.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
Yeah. My housemate Jane, she was living with me in that room there till we got robbed. That's a whole other story.
Okay.
Inside job, they reckon it was.
Yeah,
Classic.
right.
I reckon it was Tommy.
From you, yeah.
But,
Put my hand up there.
But no, we went to some great shows, and that's who I'm going on Saturday with. My mate Jane, we just go and we try and see somebody that we know, somebody that we don't know.
Yeah, great. That's a really good way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I was a fanatic before I started doing stand-up. Used to go every year and just get so excited for it because it's just such a fun time of year.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it's such cheap entertainment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
Where
what
can
it
you,
is, yeah.
Yeah. Where can you go and spend an hour and a half? Like Stephen K. Amos, we went and saw Stephen K. Amos and Alex Williamson on... Alex Williamson makes me laugh, man.
Yeah.
He's a
I
funny
haven't seen
dude.
a lot of his stuff.
He's a funny dude. And so is Stephen K. Amos. He was great. Stephen K. Amos was an hour show, and it went for like an hour 30. There was no one in between. He's like, I'm just going to go. You guys happy to sit here? We're like... And that was like $30.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
That's great.
It's just great.
Yeah, that
it's
is
great
good.
value. I really love it. So
Well, there's not many other shows where it's going really well, like a movie, and they go, you know what, we're having fun. Let's
Yeah.
just chuck it.
That's so true, yeah.
you guys want a sequel?
Yeah. This Star Wars is going pretty well. Let's just add to it.
Yeah, we'll make 9 more of them.
Thanks, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. How do you get robbed in a secure apartment?
So what happened was, so I was in Vietnam, and Jane was living in that room there. Davey, who's in this room here still, he's Jane's mate. He's a stand-up dude. He's a legend. I was away, so there was a guy in my room there that'd been staying with us for a while, and there was a new chick that moved in there because I Airbnb the rooms out.
Okay.
And then Jane called me. She's like, hey, I got some bad news. The house has been robbed. I'm like, fuck, and what's going on? She said, well, my room's the only room that got robbed. And so Jane was away. So when it happened, that room was somebody in there, that room was somebody in there, that room was somebody in there. Jane was away. Jane was the only person with any valuables in her room as well.
Yep.
So she got a MacBook stolen, an iMac stolen. So MacBook Pro, effectively, an iMac, a fucking massive, like $3,000, $4,000. And then a bunch of jewellery, bunch of dresses and stuff.
Dresses?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Weird taste.
See Tommy sweating? See Tommy sweating there?
Oh, I'm schwitzing a little bit.
But, so...
Oh, nice dresses.
Yeah.
So...
She wouldn't let me wear them, so I just took them.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So the funny thing was, when it was supposed to have gone down, there was... it had to have gone down between the hours of like 12 and 9 p.m. on Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And during that time, everybody was in the house, in their own rooms. So the police came around, they interviewed everyone. They're like, where were you? And they're like, oh, I was here. Like everyone, at the time, it made sense because Ross used to work from his computer and he would sit in his room a lot. Davey has a massive room in there and a balcony to himself, so he cruises in there a lot.
Yep.
And the girl who moved in, this really petite, really quiet, shy 18-year-old girl from the Northern Territory, she just sat in her room and talked to her boyfriend and this and that. So So there was this period. I was in Vietnam, and Jane's laid down all the facts on me, and so I was in the hostel at the time, and I'm sitting with everyone. I'm like, right, guys, have a fucking listen to this. We're basically playing Cluedo, like,
this is great.
Peacock with the candlestick.
Yeah, that's right. And I was on the phone to Jane every day for like an hour doing these, and we were actually having a great time. We were laughing our heads off, having a classic. But the thing was, so Ross was in my room. So Ross is about 55 years old, computer programmer.
Yeah.
And a lovely guy, genuinely lovely guy. A little bit kooky and socially awkward.
Computer guy?
Yeah.
Out of the box.
Yeah.
You would think.
So Ross, what happened was the police interviewed Ross, and everyone sat down in the house. We found out about 2 days later that Ross had lied to the police. He actually went to the market that day. And so Ross became,
Suspect number
Suspect
one.
number one.
He's lying to the cops.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, that's right.
He had the candlestick for the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. So,
He's wiped the CCTV.
but what happened was,
He's never listener of the show, by the way, as well. So.
but Ross is such a socially awkward dude that he might have just been like, oh yeah, I was in my room the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like that's probably what happened there.
Yep.
And when I got back, I said to Ross, I asked him about what had happened because we hadn't figured it out. And I said, what's your theory on the whole thing? And I said to him, why did you fucking lie to the police?
Yeah.
Like, you became the only suspect.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know. And he showed me his bank balance. He had like $300,000 a month. So,
What?
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he'd been stealing computers
Yeah,
for
that's right,
years,
yeah.
obviously.
Fucking hell.
But,
He had IMAX in his bank balance.
Was it a high savings account?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just run that in your day-to-day.
No, exactly. Smart access.
So, but the funny thing was, and this is fucked, so, and there's going to be heaps of people that listen to the show that know this person I'm about to reference. So Jane's friend was the one who came around on this. This is where it gets really fucking messy and interesting. So it's supposed to have gone down on the Sunday night, right? So Jane was away till Tuesday. On the Sunday afternoon, Jane's friend calls her up and says, we're going to call her Dave.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jane's friend calls her up. She says, shouldn't use Dave. It's going to put me off. But she called up and said, can I stay tonight? She's like, yeah, no worries. There's no one home, though, so you'll have to knock on the door. There's no key out for you, sorry, and people are home, so you have to knock on the door. She's like, yeah, all right, no worries. She comes around. The story is she's seen Jane's doors wide open, and she just walks in Jane's door, sleeps. The bedroom's messy. The computer's not there, but she thought she might have moved it to her mum's because she stays with her mum's a bit, all this stuff. It all makes sense, no worries. And it's her friend.
So hang on, how did she get in? Did she come in through the front door?
No, so our balcony there, that has entry to this lounge room and entry to Jane's bedroom. The one that was
So
stolen.
she's come up from the street.
From the street,
on the balcony.
Yeah, onto the balcony.
Like normal people do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, it's
For the
all
back.
Yeah. No, we all come up over the balcony.
yeah, all dressed in black.
Yeah.
So that kind of made sense, and the story checked out. And then, so Jane tells me all this. I said, yeah. She goes, it was really weird that Kate didn't notice it and tell me straight away. But do you want to just speak?
How's the dog?
Yeah, Ziggy's my dog's just been de-sexed and he's just crying in the other room. So,
Mate, they're not. He can cry all he wants. They're not coming back. They're not reattaching him, buddy.
Dad, I want my balls. So anyway, so that all checked out. But then 2 days later, Jane calls me up. I'm still in Vietnam at this point, and she goes, "Right, something really weird has happened, and I want to get your ideas on it." She goes, "So, Find My iPhone?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, they have the same thing with a computer. It's called Find My Device."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah. Oh, have you done it?" Like,
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
This is great.
And she goes, "Yeah." So I turn on Find My Device, and it says, so remember, it's supposed to have gone down on the Sunday because that's when Kate arrived.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Dave, you mean?
Dave.
Yeah.
That's when Dave arrived. Yeah. So anyway, so what happened was, Jane looks at the Find My Device.
Yep.
And because a Find My iPhone can only go off the 3G, can only use the 3G, so it always picks up the 3G.
Okay.
To do Find My Device, you have to be actually logged onto Wi-Fi.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just a bunch of nuts and bolts sitting there dormant. So with a Find My Device, it was seen to be logged on last in this building at 8 a.m. on the Monday morning, right before Jane's mate Dave left the apartment.
So what you're saying is she was the last to use it.
Well,
Is that what we're picking up here?
Well, But
So Dave was a lesbian, essentially.
But it was supposed to have not been there. It was supposed to have happened Sunday. It was supposed to have not been there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was the story was when she arrived, it wasn't in the room. The room was really messy. It looked like something had gone down, but she didn't bring any notice to it because she thought Jane might have just left in a rush.
Yep.
And then 2 days later, we find out that it was logged on the morning. The last time it was on was the morning of the departing of Jane's great friend.
Right.
Okay, so to really throw you under the bus here, mate.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
I said to Jane, I was in Vietnam. I said to Jane, so she's told me exactly that, and I've paused, and I've said, "We know what this means, Jane." She goes,
Yeah.
"I know what this means. I
Yeah,
know what this
yeah.
means." So
Not an idiot.
Your mate's a dude.
yeah, Dave's rolled you.
Yeah,
So,
Jesus.
but no, look, but there isn't. The alibi is that there's no way that Jane's mate would have been able to get in the door without that sliding door potentially being open.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah,
So that's
okay.
like the alibi there as well. So
Yeah.
it's just a fascinating.
It's weird. It's very weird.
The CCTV. So I went to the building, man. I said, right, let's.
Oh, you
find-
do have CCTV
Yeah, we
here.
got it all. So there's CCTV. I said to him, well, surely there's CCTV in the building, and they said the guy Ralph. He goes, yeah, we got CCTV everywhere that you can come in and out. I said, well, let's just look at the CCTV. I said, I'll do it. I'll go through every minute of it. He'd already done that, and he said that he's found that there's one very, very minuscule black what's it called?
Black spot.
Black spot on the CCTV. So the CCTV works.
Really?
You get 20 on the screen. It gets divided into 20 blocks.
Yep.
When 3 blocks move, then it records. Otherwise, it just takes up too much hard drive.
Oh, okay. So it's not recording all the time.
No, I think that's how most of them work.
Yeah, right.
So we figured out that if you walk directly in off the street and leave directly from here back onto the street with a fucking Santa sack of fucking Apple gear in your pocket and a couple of nice red dresses, you can get away with it.
Because you haven't set off more than one camera.
That's
it's
insane.
the only way. So whoever did it, whether it's Dave, whether it was Ross, whether it was whoever the fuck else, me, whether
Have
it
you
was
ever
me.
put yourself there?
Yeah. Well,
Think
I'm
of yourself, mate.
Yeah, Vietnam. Sure, yeah.
You weren't in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whoever did it,
Travel company.
absolutely. Whoever did it absolutely fluked the black spot on the. Like it's a fascinating run of events. It's so me and Jane we were having so much fun sleuthing this whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she never got cost her, $10,000 for a bit of a laugh, but
I can picture her just being like, this is classic.
Yeah. I'm loving this.
Right on a typewriter.
I got rolled via the balcony one night. So I had a girl come back to my place, and I live like first floor.
this
right?
in Thailand.
No, this is definitely in Melbourne.
Be honest here, Rosie.
Yeah.
Was she a Thai chick?
No, that's the end of the story. I just wanted to brag. So I get up about 4 in the morning, and I walk out to go to the bathroom, and I see that the balcony door is open, and I was like, oh, we'd been drinking, but I was like, I don't remember opening that, so I went over, locked it, shut it, and then the next morning when we get up to go, and she's like, oh, where did you put my handbag? And I said, oh, I haven't touched it, and she's like, oh, I can't find it. So we had a quick look around, and I was like, fuck, the front door, the balcony door was open, and someone had come up over, and I'm first floor, so I'm not street level. They'd obviously gotten a boost back up over my balcony, checked the door, and then it was open. So come in, swipe the handbag off the couch, and then gone back over. And I had like my wallet on the kitchen bench, my laptop and stuff in the other room, but they just come up, grabbed that, and took
Ducked
off.
out. No shit.
Yeah. So it's pretty brazen, like to come up
Yeah.
over a first floor balcony.
Yeah.
So because it's one of those new apartments, it's got like a little glass panel in the balcony, so you can see into the
Yep.
apartment. And so they must have just had seen the handbag and gone, oh, let's have a crack.
Do you know
That's
what's
classic, isn't
scary?
it?
Like, what people will do just to get like a few $100, Like, I remember there was a big sweep on it that came on the news of just people that someone would go walk to the other side of, filling their car up with petrol.
Yeah.
And in between, the other person would just duck out, nip the bag in from the other side of the car and then drive off. Like, so you've got a car here, right?
Yeah.
You get out of your car here to start filling up with petrol. Then when you finish filling up, you start walking away, or in that process of being turned around to face the petrol, someone's here, open this door, take the handbag, drive off.
See, I always
That's
lock my car when I go back in to pay.
Yeah.
You guys do that?
Really?
Oh,
Nah.
I always do that for
Do
sure.
you really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was told that
Shit.
from early on as a kid.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't even. Yeah, no one really told me. I just I just do it.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like
Shit,
because
I'm
usually like my
lacking
phone will be
common
on the
sense.
console or something like that, and I just like just
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah,
It's just easier.
Yeah, for sure. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
I thought
don't
about
trust
it was
anyone.
Yeah. I thought. Well, you shouldn't trust anyone.
Nah.
That's
That's the sad thing.
In the city, in Melbourne, right? In Melbourne, safest fucking place you can ever live.
Yeah.
I've been robbed 4 times in 2 years.
Really?
No. Sorry. It's 4 times in 4 years. I've been here nearly 2 years now. And I was in South Melbourne where we first recorded the first show. So, have you ever been to Magic Cafe on the corner of Faraz Street and Bank?
No.
Faraz and Bank Street. It is. It's a really good cafe. It changed hands. I haven't been there since, so I don't know what it's like now. But I think it's probably still pretty good. Anyway, Magic Cafe. I went there. Right. I went there to have breakfast with my uncle. My uncle, I'm sitting facing my uncle here. There's the entry, the doors here. I can see from on about a 45-degree angle. I can see my car where I parked.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there having breakfast with my uncle. Yep, no worries. Had a great catch up. This is about 9 a.m. I reckon on believe it was a weekday, and then we finish up, and my uncle says, "Do you mind dropping me back at my my truck?" Because I park. He owns an apple orchard, and he'd been to the market, so he's got this huge truck, and he had to park miles away. I said, "Yeah, absolutely, no worries." We jump in my car, and there's like rubbish all over my car, and I thought that there'd been like rats in my car or something like that, because that happened before. Like
Rats been in your car before? That's very strange. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just thinking Ninja Turtles, but
First thought rats.
Yeah. How they getting in?
Definitely rats.
Yeah.
so, and then I look behind. I'm like, "Fuck, where's my training gear? I must have forgotten my training bag." And then I look. I'm like, "Didn't forget all my tradie tools." And then I just dropped my head. I said, "I've been fucking robbed here."
It rolled.
Middle of the day, in clear eyesight of where I'm sitting, my car was robbed blind.
That's insane.
Wow.
How
How'd
crazy is
they
that?
get in? Like they bust the lock?
Yeah, they did. So that's exactly what they did. They bust the lock. They cut around it and pushed it through.
Yeah.
And then you can just turn the whole head of the lock.
Yep.
Basically, and you can let yourself in. So
Pretty courageous, though,
yeah,
if you
isn't it?
think
I
about
was
it.
like,
It's like
Do it
they
during
wouldn't
the
know it was
day.
you. Yeah, they
Yeah,
wouldn't know
yeah,
it was you.
boys.
Could have been anyone.
well played. And it was right in front of. So where my car was parked wasn't like down a little side street that was near this random cafe. It was parked in front of the what's it called, the Railway Hotel, which is like
Oh,
A
yeah,
busy
yeah.
pub.
yeah.
Jesus. Tons
So,
of people around.
Yeah, it was classic. Yeah, I had my car broken into and bike stolen a couple of years ago, and then we
Yeah.
had 2 bikes stolen off the balcony up here as well.
Yeah.
Same thing. Jump over the balcony, snip, take the bikes.
Oh, so they were locked up.
Yeah.
Man, it's so bad.
It's
Yeah.
insane, isn't it?
I had my car broken into once. I'd left it on the street. This is in North Fitzroy, so pretty safe area.
Yeah.
And I go out to it the next morning, and the lock's busted. And they tried to, jimmy the ignition and didn't get it. And it wasn't until like a couple of weeks later that I went looking for a CD because I had a bunch of CDs in the glove box, and I listen to some pretty full-on metal.
Yeah.
But they'd only taken one CD, so they'd gone through it and they've gone, this is shit. And they
There's a
just
lot more
stolen
musical
one.
taste.
Yeah. They're like,
We can't even sell this shit.
yeah, exactly.
Rosie actually found more CDs when he came back.
yeah. Cash converters won't even take this shit.
That's classic.
I love the pattern interrupt. This is going to be so funny on YouTube. Just a dog with a trombone on his head. It's just the most bizarre.
Just come back
podcast.
from the beach. I know.
Yes. Oh,
so
you poor bastard.
for the listeners that don't know what's going on, Ziggy, my little dog, because we're recording from home today because it's an early one. Couldn't get in the offices, and Ziggy's had his little
Little's an understatement.
little tackle taken off, and he's wearing all these funny headgear. And
Yeah, it looks strange.
Rosie walked in. He's like, "Oh, it's doggy dress up there."
Yeah, he's going for a swim.
Tom's still in dress?
Yeah. So Rosie, how's the comedy festival going for you? You were saying before the show that it's a medium-sized run for you this time round.
Yeah, so if you do the full run, so Comedy Festival goes from like 29th of March till 22nd of April, I think, for everyone. So if you
Yep.
do a full run, it's about 22 shows, and I'm only doing half of it. So I'm doing 2 weeks. I'm doing 12 shows. I've added 2 more next week on Friday 13th and Saturday the 14th. So if you're in Melbourne, you want to come to the show,
Yeah.
8:15 at the European Beer Cafe. Show's called Hold My Beer. And you can get tickets at comedyfestival.com.au. But it's just so much fun just doing half a run. Like, you just know, I know, like, apart from the extra shows, which are going to be fun anyway, there's only 3 to go, and I'm already tired. So to add that other 2 weeks in just would have been absolutely brutal. And I'm on at 9:30, so I can't eat before a show. So I'll eat at like 4 p.m. and then won't eat until after the show, if at all.
Wow.
So I just get too full and tired and stuff.
yeah.
And then being on at 9:30, you just can't go to sleep straight away. You know, you're all wired up and full of adrenaline. So I get home. If I happen to get home by 11:30 midnight, I'm sitting up till 1 watching telly because I'm just wide awake.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking knackered.
Yeah,
I've
for
only
sure.
done half the run.
So how's it work as a comedian? Like, obviously you don't just do stand-up, you got a lot of other stuff that you're involved in. But do these festivals, like, do you do the other festivals? Do you do other festivals around the world? Like,
I've never
Edinburgh?
done Edinburgh or Montreal or anything like
Yeah.
that. I'd like to do Edinburgh. A lot of times, because I write a lot for television, I've been stuck in Melbourne, working on that. Because I do a lot with Australian rules footy.
Yep.
And that season just sort of precludes you from doing a lot of travel when those festivals are on.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. I imagine Edinburgh would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
It'd just be hard work,
Why
just
so?
so many shows on. I think there's like 3,000 shows on.
Yeah.
I think Melbourne has about 600 at the moment, and just the competition being, no profile over there, starting from scratch, paying for accommodation, all the stuff, you're just up against it.
Yeah.
It's just a great way to lose 10 grand.
Yeah, that's right. Plus getting your shit stolen.
Yeah, exactly. And it probably will get stolen, so add another 10 grand to it.
No, Scotland.
So,
That's right.
and people come back, it just sounds like they've been to war. And you're like, man, that just sounds so brutal. And I don't know whether I've passed that point in my life where I can be fucked doing that.
Yeah.
So,
You be the bloke handing out your pamphlets out the front of the town hall, the
library.
8 hours a day.
yeah. And people have to do that. And, people have shows at 4 in the afternoon and they'll be like, I got 7 people in tonight, I was wrapped. And you're like, fuck, that just sounds so dire.
poor bastard.
Yeah.
That's like the show we went to the other night was like that. This bloke came up at the town hall and he
Gave you the flyer.
but he was having a chat. We were having a chat, and he was telling us all these places that he played. And I was like, he played like the comedy store in La Jolla in the US, and which I'd heard of before, and all these festivals here and there. I'm like, yeah, sick. And I said to Georgie, I'm like, should we go with this dude? I like this guy. We'll back him in,
Yeah.
And we went there, and I genuinely reckon, just from the vibes, that the 6 people in the front row was filled.
Yep.
6 people in the front row were, I reckon, family.
Okay.
Just judging how they interacted after the show.
Right.
There was a guy in the back left-hand corner who was his laugh guy, I feel like, because every gag he was like, "Ah!" It was actually really good, though. Like,
Yeah.
he was classic addition to the show.
Yeah.
Classic.
And then there was me, and it was me and Georgie at the back because we got in like 5 minutes late, and Georgie was like, "Fuck, I don't want to get railed by the comedian," so I'm like, "We'll just sit at the back." And then it was literally like 3 meters away, but there was about 9 of us in the room, and he came up and really, really thanked us at the end. He was like, so I imagine, like, did you go through that shit coming up?
What's his name?
Something Leone.
Okay. Maybe I don't even know him.
Cassie Leone.
I imagine you have to go through that, though.
Something like that.
You've got to start from somewhere.
Yeah, unless you get a TV profile. You've got to do the flying, and I'm really bad at the flying. Because people always go, "You're funny," and it's like, "Oh, fucking, I'll kill you. What do you reckon I'm going to say, mate?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm going to say that I think I'm funny, and don't put me on the spot like that. And
It's just
like-
dickhead.
yeah, it's like that. It's like, oh, fuck off. And then I get that attitude, and they're like, well, we're not coming to your show.
Yeah,
So I have other people do my flying for me now because it's just
big week.
Absolutely.
His mum.
It's like an 8-year-old Bangladeshi kid, but he does a good job. His family are well fed.
Yeah, is he handing out in Bangladesh or over here?
Everywhere. I'm huge in the
Melbourne.
dish.
He's a very funny too.
Yeah, if you buy a pair of Nikes, you'll find it in the shoe.
That's right. Oh, that was great.
Yeah, so it's you do see a lot of people out there flying, and some people are really good at it and can convince people. And I think it does help to be out on the street and just trying to sell your own show. But for me, the hour before the show, you just kind of want to focus on the show sometimes, and so you lose a bit of that to try and get people in there. Yeah, and then sometimes you can be out there for an hour, like flogging your ass, and you'll drag 2 people in. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. I think it'd be really hard. It's like the last 3 weeks I've been making sales calls for Venture because our sales chick left us.
Yeah.
And getting just any sort of no from somebody is a bit dejecting, you know?
Absolutely.
Or that negative attitude kind of, It's just like,
It's demoralising
crushes you
after
a
a
little
while,
bit.
and you start to take it personally, and then you've got to turn around and go and just do a comedy show straight after that. So if you get 20 people and you see, people take your flyer and then just drop it. And you're like,
Yeah. Throw it in the bin.
yeah, get out of my eyesight first, Jesus.
Oh, 1 sec, mate. Sure, this sounds great.
yeah, exactly. Hand it to him pre-crumpled.
Yeah, exactly. I've already pissed on it for you, mate.
Yeah.
Please just come to the show.
Yeah.
Oh, shocking.
So things like that, you're just like, fuck, you're up against it. And
Yeah. So we touched on it last show, but I wanted to get into it a bit more. How do you go with actually just being in front of a crowd? Have you ever had an issue with that? Like, a lot of people have a fear of public speaking, bit of stage fright.
I've never had. I don't know why. Like the fear of public speaking has never bothered me. Like when I started, I was super nervous and stuff, but it wasn't about being up on the stage. It was about being funny. Whether or not I was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't like outwardly. Wanting to do drama and stuff and being the performer at school, but I was sort of the class dickhead, so I was always comfortable in that realm of getting laughs for, just being an idiot.
Yeah.
So that never bothered me. So I was always kind of back myself in that sort of realm. But yeah, there's times when nerves just overwhelm you, like the first time you do TV or, when you put pressure on a big gig, when there's like 3,000 people in a theatre or whatever. And that's when you just... you drink lots of water beforehand, you still got cotton mouth, you're just so nervous and you're just trying to calm yourself so you don't stumble over those first couple of words. Because if you mishit that first joke and you lose confidence in yourself, it's a fucking very quick downward spiral.
Jesus.
Because you just lose all ability. You lose how to speak. You might fuck up a word and you're like, just slow down, focus, get it back.
100%.
Yeah, whereas if you get the first one, out of the middle of the bat, and you're like, I'm away here.
Yeah,
the confidence just,
you get the crowd on your side.
You just lift,
Yeah, because I feel like this poor bloke the other night had nine people in his show. He started off real shaky.
Yeah.
Real shaky he did. And
that puts your audience on edge.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes them uncomfortable because they're like, they want you to win.
Yeah.
But they're nervous now, so they're like, "Oh God, where's this going?" So there's just teeth clenched and everyone's sphincters are tight, and you're just like, "Come on, mate."
But because he got to like the middle part and the latter end of his show, and some of the jokes he was coming out with, like he was saying some stuff, and I thought about him one of them I thought about 10 seconds later. I'm like, that was the most epic joke.
Yeah.
But it got fuck all.
Nothing?
Yeah,
right.
From me. Because I thought about it, I'm like, he just doesn't have us on his side, like you said, And I think he built a bit of momentum towards the end, but if he had started off well, all these good jokes that he was delivering well halfway through would have been hits. They were just kind of like, not bad, mate.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
And I think you also can get hurt a little bit, and you never blame the crowd for this, but when it's a small crowd, they're less likely to have that raucous laughter and the wave laughter where it just carries on. So you'll get a laugh, it'll drop, you got to start again.
Yeah,
it's sort of like
true.
trying to start a lawnmower is the way we kind of do it. There's no wave to ride. You paddle really hard, you stand up, wave drops, and you're like, oh, I'll start again.
Yeah.
And but that the weirdest thing is when you get a packed crowd and that happens, you're like, why? How is that happening? It's like it happens en masse, and you can't get the psyche of a crowd. You can never predict how they're going to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be really chatty beforehand, and you think, oh, this is going to be an easy one.
Yeah.
And then you go out, and it's not. And then other times they'll be really quiet pre-show, and you're like, oh, I reckon I'm going to have to work hard here. And then they just explode, and you're like, okay, wasn't predicting this.
Can you see the crowd when you're on there? How dark is the
Because the lights are coming so hard into my eyes, I can see usually about 2, maybe 3 rows back, but beyond that, you actually genuinely can't see. And so many people were like, you were staring right at me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I just make eye contact with where I think people are sitting, but I can't see anyone. So,
right.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like he's
weird.
looking at me in the eyes or the shoulder.
People go, oh, yeah, there was one bit where he was staring right at me. It's like, I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
The worst now is... when people are looking at their phones. So they think because it's close to their body and the light's shining towards them, they think, the light's away, so you can't see it. But they're lit up.
Yeah.
You just see this blue face.
Oh, that's shocking.
And sometimes you want to say something because you think it's bothering everyone, but it happens so often now, you're just like, don't even bother. Because no one else can see it.
Yeah, you'd be too busy.
That's shit, though, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I saw a girl, I
Very
went and saw a
rude.
show a few years ago at the town hall. So it's full crowd, everyone's loving it. And I looked across and a girl was on Facebook, like just scrolling through.
Man.
And you're like, how is your attention span?
Yeah.
Like you're being entertained. It's right there in front of you.
That's right.
And you go, well, I need to know.
Yeah. And I'm assuming she paid as well.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It
And she's
just, I
fucking doing
couldn't
this.
believe it.
Yeah,
that
that's
people
just
need to
embarrassing.
do that in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
it might be addiction.
oh, but it is.
That's what I've just had a week off Instagram. I've turned my phone to inverted colours.
Oh, yeah.
So the apps look the same. Most of the stuff works all right, but like if you go on YouTube or ESPN.com for videos, they're all black. They're all blacks. The whites are blacks and the
Yep.
colours. And trying to get myself off my phone.
So you deleted Instagram or you moved the app?
No, I deleted the app.
Yeah.
And
So that doesn't delete you. You can come back on and you're there.
No, I'll be back on in the next few days, really. But
Yeah.
I'm going to try and have like a week off every month, I reckon.
Okay.
Just to give myself a break. It's because it's been fucking great. But I get a lot of business through Instagram, through my own. People like talking to a person, you know.
Yeah,
they know
yeah.
me as the face of the business now, and
Yeah.
you know it's. So I do need it. I don't need it, but it's very beneficial to have, you know. So
Oh, absolutely. And I'm the same with Facebook. Like, I would
Yeah.
love to step away from Facebook, but that's where a lot of people can contact me because it's so
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
But, I'd love to step away from that.
my mate,
That's the thing, though. Like, I mean, I like don't like. I totally get that. Look, social media, we can't control it. Social media is
Yeah.
the best for personal business, personal branding.
It
business,
really is.
You know,
Super,
like, you
yeah.
can't get away with it. So
No, it's the
we've
future.
got to just figure out a way to have fun with it, you know?
yeah.
That's a good point, actually, because like a lot of people get their, they get their misleading news and stuff from that. I don't get my news from Facebook. Like I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
You just
Yeah,
go to the sites that you trust.
Yeah.
And anyone who gets like that, well, you go, well, you're probably going to get skewed anyway. You're going to believe what you want to believe.
That's right.
No matter what's put up there. So yeah,
That's right.
I don't use it for that.
No, and look, so I'm a massive hermit crab. I don't watch any news or anything.
Yeah.
And the only news that I would get would maybe be if someone that I follow would put something up and I'd just have a quick scroll. But I don't care about the news at all. Like, I got rid of it 6 months ago and I just started realizing it was just super negative and
Yeah.
I just fucked it off. But like,
So
there's-
you don't watch the news?
mate, literally
I don't watch the
about
news either.
2 months ago.
I'm watching
Really?
this for
Yeah.
2 years now.
2 months ago, I found out that gay marriage was legalized in Australia. Literally, I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch it. I literally, it's been the
So you
best
didn't
thing for me. No, well, I mean, I voted yes, but that was in October, was it, or when we were supposed to vote? But it came out in pardon the pun. It came out in January or something, or
I think December.
December. Yeah, I had no idea. Had absolutely no.
Is
I was
that
also
right?
I was also in Iceland.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
well,
that's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, you left that bit out.
Yeah, no, but I had no idea, and it's been great for me. But that we
So you were driving past gay weddings.
yeah.
Get out of it, it's not legal.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
No, look, it was actually my dad told me that he was going to a wedding of a lesbian couple.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And he goes,
You mean you're going to watch them have sex?
yeah, that's
On
right.
the internet.
Yeah,
yeah.
Dad was looking up Pornhub.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, Dad, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Sorry. But,
It's a good family.
yeah. Oh, we're close.
Tight family.
But yeah, I had no idea. And he's like, oh, I know it's Australian. I was like, what? I freaked out. But people, I don't know, you get a lot of posts, you know, and you hear things like, oh, social media's so bad and like it's ruining the whole world. But like, we can't control it. It's great for my business, it's great for Adventure, it's great for all our
Yeah.
personal brands. Like, we have a lot more control than people think. Like, you can choose to follow and unfollow whoever you want.
Yeah.
I just try to have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's good. But I think the problem with it is, and we talk about this. we got a comedian. We talk about shit like
Yeah.
you know, like we talk about with this kind of stuff. We talked about with like we always end up on this topic.
Yeah,
something
we do a
similar
bit.
to it with
We're thinking about it a lot.
Yeah. But my mate just got off at Louis, and he said it was the best thing he's ever done. He had his kid Ted with him, and his kid's like 1 year old, and he's like, Daddy, and he's like, all right, Teddy, hang on, and he was scrolling on Instagram, and Gert, his missus, was sitting next to him scrolling on Instagram as well. He goes, so put on your Barney and Friends or whatever the kids watch, put on 30-minute episode on like the DVD or on Netflix or whatever,
Yeah.
and then so Louis put it on, and then he's lost 30 minutes, like the TV show's ended. And he realised, and he's like, fuck, what have I just done?
Yeah.
I've just lost 30 minutes with my son that I
Yeah,
can't get
yeah.
back. Just leave that door open, Tommy, for Ziggy to float in and out. I think Davey will be cool with that. And yeah, I agree. I think you can use it for good, and you can go overboard. But the apps are made to be addictive. You know, that's the only
Well,
issue.
that's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are designed to give you that hit. I was listening to this is slightly different thing, but, built to get into your brain. I was listening to a thing on the radio, and they were talking about the pokies and how the pokies are built, to be addictive, and they're designed to that. But you get more of a dopamine hit from almost winning than winning.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, right.
So when you win, you're like, oh, that was good. But when you almost win, you're like, fuck, that was great.
Yeah.
And that's just incredible that they prey on the fact that when you nearly got one, it's like, that's even a bigger
But
hit.
you lost.
That fucks your brain. That you didn't win. You're like, I won. But that other one was, the close one was
Better
really
one
good.
was. But think about, so if we're moving into the area of self-awareness now, it's kind of like, when we've all played that single game, that sort of stuff. A lot of blokes talk about how the chase is so fun.
Yeah.
No blokes talk about, just from maybe my friendship group, but I guess some of the single blokes that love being single at the moment talk about, oh, fuck, I love the chase, man. But they don't specifically say, I love banging tons of chicks.
Yeah.
Because you almost get there. It's the exact same premise,
Yeah,
So it's like, if you can start to look equally upon yourself.
You're exactly right.
You know what I mean?
It's the adrenaline rush of
That's
the whole
right.
build-up.
That's right, yeah.
And then, you get to the point, you're like, oh, yeah.
Well, what
Yeah.
this is
Do you
great.
guys gamble?
No, I've never gambled. No.
Yeah.
No. But
That's one thing I can't understand. Like, I'll have a flutter at Melbourne Cup and stuff, but I can switch it off and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I don't understand that addiction.
Neither.
Like how people, just spend time in the TAB and because you work so hard for your cash just to give it away. I'm like, fuck that.
It doesn't. But even when I win on a race, because I'm the same. I'll only really bet on the races and only for a couple of the big events maybe, and some race seasons I won't bet at all. I might spend $1,000, $1,500 over the course of my life, and even when I win, I'm like, oh yeah, won $150 or $200, $300. But I'm spending. I feel like I'm aware enough that I'm spending $150 on this particular day anyway. I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's just go get that beer. It's not even like I don't even get the fucking rush out of it.
I don't get a rush.
It is a strange one because some people just get. Like, you think of the people that are the deranged pokey addicts. Like, that go... I had a chick who was staying with me. Ching, she was Chinese, and she was a lovely, lovely chick. She was a lawyer, smart as fuck, so nice. Young chick, she's like 26. And she started coming home really late. She'd come from Adelaide, I think, and she just started, with a new firm in Melbourne.
Right.
And she started to come home really late for a run. She was with me for about 3 months. And then... Yeah, second month in, I'm like, hey, I said one night to her, I said, Chingy, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
You're getting home really late. You got a guy going on. She's like, oh, no. She was really shy. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll leave it.
Yeah.
And then and a week later, and she's coming home super late. I'm not seeing her. I'm only seeing her in the day. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing tonight?
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, I'm embarrassed. And yeah, she was down the casino every night.
So I think it has a lot
Yeah,
to play with
for like
boredom,
4
if I'm
hours.
being honest with you. So,
Really?
Well, so I have another part-time job, which is like a servicing job. And a lot of the jobs we do are at casinos and sporting clubs and things. And, this is obviously not any news to anyone, but the surprisingly overwhelming demographic is, people that are retired. And I just feel like it has a lot to do with boredom. But because you see them go in groups, so there's that sense of community, which is obviously an evolutionary need for
Big
us.
part of life,
they're all having a bit of fun with a bit of dopamine kicks here and there, and they're drinking, they're laughing. It gives them,
so it's very social.
It is, yeah. It gives them something to do. But I guess the sad thing is that they're losing money. They're playing off something which has negative feedback and negative drawbacks, and as social as it is, when you're actually involved in the task, it's just you and the machine.
Yeah.
So they're not actually doing this,
Yes. Yeah.
Which I think is quite sad. But I feel like boredom has a part to play on many addictions and many sort of, mental disorders and things.
See, porn addiction, they reckon.
Oh, yeah.
I reckon it's... they reckon.
Yeah, I reckon. I absolutely know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. My mate, Tommy's a really big punter, and my mate Corey was working at Sportsbet, and we were one day we were like, we should look up Tommy's record, see how much he's put across, because he's put across a lot. He's a foreman, so he earns really good wage. Smart dude. It's never. I don't think it's ever gone gotten out of hand.
Right.
But the way that he explains it to me is, he goes, well, I give myself an allowance per week, which is a bit, and he goes, and that's what I use for my entertainment, which is punting. He goes, I know that I'm never going to win. I know I'm throwing my money away, but I might spend $200 a week on that side of my life, that's me, my entertainment. I study the form, I get excited by this, I do these carnivals and stuff.
Yep.
And it's, he's like, it's like going to a night at the opera. People like to spend 4 or 5 hours having a nice dinner and going to a night at the opera for their entertainment. That's not what I like to do with my entertainment. I entertain myself by following the horses and footy, punting on footy and stuff like that. So, you can kind of understand that. But, I mean, then it just... At some point, for most people, it gets out of hand.
It's a half justification in my books. It's like, I mean, look, I understand that this meth isn't great for me, but give myself
I enjoy it. Yeah. I don't like the opera.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah.
I just do meth at the opera.
Yeah, that's right. One of my favourite things to do.
I'd
watch meth opera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be good.
I watched Train Spotting live on stage.
Fuck,
That was like a meth opera. Genuine. Last year it was sick when Train Spotting 2 came out.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was
fun.
Train Spotting live. Yeah, it was really good. They played it in Melbourne for like 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Do you guys feel like you do anything that feeds an addiction when you get bored?
I mean, it's very easy. Like when you're writing, trying to write the show or whatever, very easy to just get lost in the internet. Like,
oh yeah,
that's kind of what I'll do to when I'm bored to just look at news sites and just chase that kind of thing down. But no, I don't think I do.
Yeah.
I
couldn't agree more. I'll give myself like a 5 or 10 minute break after work or something. But I mean, the work that I do, I really, really enjoy.
Yep.
But time will pass. I mean, I'm interested because I feel like no amount of meditation through my years of life could ever stop me from just losing an extra 20 minutes just going down a rabbit hole on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just lose myself on YouTube.
And you can let yourself
YouTube's
do it, but then
killer,
you
man.
just sort of go, all right, you've got a deadline, one more video, and then you're done.
Exactly.
And the other thing is deadlines are fucking great because you need to get shit done.
100%.
Because otherwise you lose your livelihood. So.
Yes.
Yeah, the punting's never grabbed me. I used to smoke cigarettes and I gave them up like that. I mean, when I'm really drunk, I'll have a cigarette or two sometimes these days.
Yeah.
But like smoked for a fair few years there and socially smoked for ages.
Yeah.
No worries there.
How was that like? So you just went cold turkey?
Yeah, I smoked from when I was probably 14 to about 18. I smoked.
Yep.
And then from about 18 to 25, 26, I socially smoked, but I'd smoke a pack or two a week.
Yeah, right.
Like socially smoked, I'd drink every weekend for sure at least.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would justify I'm only having a cigarette if I've had a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I would finish work or football. More so it was football. And I'd go through the bottle shop and I'd go slab of beers if I was going to my mate's joint or 6 beers and a packet of Peter Stuyvesant 20 soft pack. That's what I smoked.
The cool ones.
Yeah. Flick at the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, but then I would have a sip of my beer and I would
Instantly want to dart.
straight away.
Yeah,
straight away.
yeah.
I would get the beer quickly, so I'd have a sip quickly, so I could
Have a
spark up
dart.
a dart in the week. The kind of like the weekend had landed, kind of like
Yep.
And I did that for years and years and years, and then I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to smoke anymore, and I just didn't. I didn't smoke for like 2 or 3 years, and then now I get a little bit angry at myself if I have
A dart.
or more than 1 or 2 in a night, and that happens from time to time, and I feel a bit of an idiot. But I never had any issues getting rid of that. But yeah, for me, 100% the internet. Like I'm with the phone thing. Like it's great that you don't have to do it. Like I have said like many times, I'm addicted to my phone, the internet, and my phone, Instagram and YouTube. And I fucking really do like YouTube. But as soon as I come home, I turn on the TV and I go straight to YouTube and I just start a fucking 6
Really?
hour. Yeah, it's just if I'm sending some emails, doing some stuff from here, like I work from my office, but if I do some work from here,
Yep.
if I'm making some food, whatever, I've got YouTube playing.
Really?
Yep. Most of the day.
What
Yeah.
about Live Leak? Why don't you go to Live Leak?
What's that?
Step it up a bit. So
What is
Live
it?
Leak is like the dark YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's where people put up, like insurgents videos and stuff like that. Like shit that
Great.
shit that they can't put on YouTube.
Yeah.
Live Leak.
Stuff I really want to
It's
come
like,
onto.
yeah, it's next level.
Live leak is every now and then a live leak video comes up on YouTube or Facebook or something. It's some sort of like ISIS beheading.
Yeah.
I've seen that shit before.
Yeah,
It's fucked.
yes. There's some grim shit, but that's a wormhole you can head down.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
No, but look, like addiction. I don't know. Look, as someone that has played around with addiction. Look, like that sounds weird. I've never had a heroin addiction.
I've dabbled.
Yeah, I've dabbled a little bit.
Addictions.
Smoked a bit. Yeah. Well, addiction has such a negative connotation, I feel, in today's society. It's like, we were talking about The Power of Habit before. Charles Duhigg's great book. Like things that I'm addicted to. in life today predominantly are positive addictions.
Yeah, no,
I
I
really
definitely
feel.
have those,
they're
know?
not all
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah. Like I used to watch. I remember like being a teenager, just walking around with a 24/7 boner and just like being bored, watch a bit of porn, have a sesh. Like but those things have changed to now. CrossFit, I absolutely love. I'm really addicted to it. I really, really love it.
Yeah.
But then I'm also equally addicted to. I really, really do enjoy sitting down and reading. Now I can really lose myself in that, and that's become a real like. It's a little bit of a negative thing now because I'm like, fuck, I need to learn something. So that's a bit average. But I guess generally,
it's positive.
Yeah.
It is positive.
Yeah. No, so I mean,
When you're at CrossFit, how quickly do you take your shirt off?
oh, very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
good.
Yeah, within seconds
It's
walking.
not
in the
even
door.
worth asking. It's about asking when he takes his pants off.
That's
what
right.
it is.
Yeah, right.
And that's about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Once you're in the box, though, pants are off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a bit of an innuendo there. But look, I'm actually a coach, so pants are off before I start actually
Right.
telling the members what's
Right.
going on. Yeah. No, that's good. Have you done CrossFit before?
I have.
Oh, whereabouts?
So I was at the Fitzroy one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's was that CrossFit Victoria?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
It
it's
was.
good.
I really enjoyed it. It was just a bit too. It just got a bit samey for me.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? I'm sick of squats.
Yeah. Do you know the irony of that is that CrossFit is like prides itself on being constantly varied. You guys suck. It's just the same shit every time. But
Yeah, that was one thing I found.
Yeah.
It wasn't as varied as I hoped. Because, I'd watched the CrossFit Games on ESPN and
Yeah.
loved what they did in that. But in this particular box that we were training in, you go, they don't have enough of the equipment and it just wasn't varied.
Right.
It was almost the same stuff over and over. And I just
Yeah.
kind of got bored with that.
yeah, routine sucks for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think I think I've got some healthy-ish addictions. Like I think I'm addicted to making adventure work.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
great.
I get, if I get a day, like it was really hard for me. I don't know if you're the same, Rosie, with comedy and trying to always get better. It might be because I'm in the young period where I'm at with my company, but I had the Easter weekend off. Like
Yep.
I had Friday and Monday. I might have sent a few emails here and there and whatever, but I basically took the whole weekend off.
And is that hard to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking I felt like I had bugs crawling up my skin. I'm like, I need it.
Well,
But I was
you
like, yeah. But I was like, no, relax.
Yeah.
Take a breath, chill out. Took Ziggy for a big hike. Caught up with tons of people. Had to preoccupy myself. Otherwise, my go-to wouldn't be read, go for a run, do something for myself. My go-to would be open my laptop and start punching out emails, start trying to sell shit, trying to make money.
So are you like that when you go on holidays? Like, takes 3 or 4 days before you can actually go, fucking switch off. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's not my...
Just let yourself be. It's
Relax,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah,
it's not
really
my
hard.
default. I think it's not my default. I think when I'm on holiday and like in the past, I go on holiday and I'm into it.
Okay.
I think so. I think like what the position I'm in right now is probably just I know that I'm still in the danger zone. I'm pretty passionate about what I do, so I just need to, make sure that I'm doing what I can to make sure that we survive.
Yeah.
And we're pretty well. We're there-ish, now. But so yeah, because I work really hard, but I'm not a hard worker.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm not born to graft.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
born to fucking sit on the couch.
Yeah, great.
yeah.
So you're working hard to make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, I'm working hard because I have to.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
alternative of going back to what I used to do or finding something else is not what
Horrifying.
I want.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So yeah, horrifying is probably the right word. Horrifying is the right word, and that's. But I think that's like that's even scary in itself because I was seeing a psychologist when I went through a rough patch back in the day, and now I see him from time to time just to catch up. Just so I think it's healthy and it's really good to get prehab your mind.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Get stronger in the mind and know more about yourself. And we talked one day about the fact that like so much of my, like say if you walked away from comedy, for example, like how much of your persona, and for me as well, like I'm that adventure guy. You're Adam Rozenbachs, the comedian. Like how much of our persona is attached to the thing that we do, and the thing that we do doesn't always work. You know what I mean? I think it smashes people from time to time because if I walked away from adventure, I'm like, well, who the fuck am I? It's
Oh, mate.
Probably-
I can't even imagine a world where I'm not doing stand-up because I'd be like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
And you're right. What am I without it? You know?
Who am I? Yeah.
You guys
Oh,
been
fuck.
following Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
It makes me think of it 100%.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey used to get so into his characters that he kind of forgot about who Jim Carrey was. Because if you think about it, we're completely defined by our characteristics and our habits. Before that is just a thought. You think of something funny, you say it. Oh, Adam Rozenbachs a funny guy.
Yeah.
So if you start switching your thoughts around, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then, depersonalization becomes a very real thing.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's
It's
gone
scary.
deep on that, hasn't he?
It is a bit scary.
Totally.
Yeah, I watched. I was watching him when he was talking about that, and I got a bit of anxiety. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, who the fuck am I then?
Yeah.
But then, you just kind of think, well, as long as what you're doing, if it sits with you well and it's your authentic self, and
Yeah.
what you're saying and doing is the true you, then that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be wary with Jim Carrey stuff and people like that because I think when I'm down in the dumps and having a bit of a rough time, run down, or like if I'm having like a bit of anxious or whatever, I see through things too much, and I go like Jim Carrey's talking about like what do you see the red carpet thing with Jim Carrey?
No.
He was at the
This sort of kicked it off, hey?
Yeah. He was at a red carpet event, and this lady came up to interview him. She's like, "Oh, Jim Carrey, interesting to see you here at Fashion Week. What are you doing here? Who are you here to see?" And Jim Carrey's like, "Well, I'm just here because this is the most useless place that I can be. The most useless part of our culture.
Yeah.
The most useless part of society." And he started saying, and she's like, and he goes, "And to the point of me being here, I'm not here." He goes, I'm a collaboration of atoms buzzing at a high frequency, none of which are touching. I'm stardust." And he started going on this fucking crazy rant.
Yeah.
And it was epic. It was hilarious. It was also like, "Hey, Jim, calm down, have a laugh." Like, you're giving this poor reporter was like,
Yeah, I'm sure she's loving it. Oh, good. Jim Carrey's here. Great.
Yeah. What are your thoughts
Yeah,
on
he'll say
Chanel?
something funny.
Yeah.
But I look at it sometimes and I'm like, oh fuck, I think a little bit like that. Like,
yeah.
I think you just have with all that kind of stuff. I think it's good to think deeply about the world, but then it's really good to also just be a little bit deliberately be ignorant and just go roll the punches and just feel
How much? I mean, as much as sometimes these people are horrifying because they don't think, but people who just that just nothing bothers them. They don't give a fuck about the world. They don't care
They're like
what's
dogs.
happening. Yeah, but there's humans out there,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, just I go home, I enjoy my beer on the weekend, I don't think, I go to work, no worries, it's
Mate.
just stressless.
That's great.
I
Good
used
on
to,
him.
I couldn't.
I used
Oh
to,
fuck! I would love to live that
Yeah, I
life.
know.
Of just not
I know.
overthinking
You just-
every
you have to be
fucking
dumb.
second of my day.
You have to be dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not joking when I say that.
You do have to be dumb.
The rate of suicide once you get past, I forget what's a good IQ, but say 120 is quite smart. Once you get past 120 into the 130s, into the 140s, into the 150s, the higher you go IQ-wise, the rate of suicide
Skyrockets.
skyrockets, absolutely skyrockets for that reason. Because you're like, what's the fucking, like, what am I?
Because you're thinking about every moment.
Yeah, and you're assessing how ridiculous a lot of the stuff that we do is. A lot of the things in the world. Whereas if you're Cletus, it's just like,
Or
cool,
Carl
cool.
Pilkington.
Yeah. Then you just you
You just go with the flow. You're
Yeah.
happy with everything. You don't question shit.
Yeah.
And you're content.
Yeah, but see, I used to think like that, right? And when I had a real bad trot with mental health issues, I
Yeah.
was very, very envious of people like that
Yeah.
were just kind of happy going through all this, But at the same time, so I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, and
Yeah.
this is not surprising. Like, I was diagnosed younger, pretty much, and I'd known it my whole life. And I've just been looking into it a little bit more recently and stuff. And I probably think it's way more prevalent than people who get diagnosed. But anyway, I've been looking into all this stuff a little bit more, and I think that if you are someone that looks into everything so much and overanalyzing, it's like a superpower that you can use.
Yeah.
So like, you would be so much less funny if you weren't like that. And you couldn't see the stupidity. You would be able to start a business
Yeah.
if you couldn't see what could help people.
I think,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right there.
We just got to use it. You got to use it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
So does that mean you're on? Do they put you straight on Ritalin, that
so
kind of stuff?
I
Scoot this way a bit with the camera. Getting out of shot of the
never
photo.
wanted to be. I mean, I could have been medicated with OCD, anxiety medication.
Yep.
But I never wanted to. I just never had a good feeling about it. But what I do, I'm trying to start my own thing as well.
Yep.
And I've always been a phases person. I was always addicted to. My first thing was Lego as a kid. Then it became footy.
So was mine.
Yeah, that's right. And it was guitar, and I just remember thinking back, like, every day I'd play guitar for 6 hours a day. Lego was all day.
Yeah.
My mum took me to see a hearing specialist because she thought I was deaf, but I just had acute selective hearing. If I got a little bit of boredom at all, I'd start to get very anxious, and I'd always fidget and things like that.
Okay.
But as I've the mental health issues that I had before were the best thing that ever happened to me, because I had to unravel everything that I'd fucked up in my life and the way I was living life and go, okay, what the fuck? Like, I actually need to put some more productive things into place here.
Yep.
And meditation was a great thing, but actually just finding things that I'm really passionate about and becoming really good friends with people that I was really, really like I aspired to be, but also was just really happy with hanging around with. And my life now is very much always go, go, go as it is for everyone. But the systems in my life now are such that I don't feel like I need medication. You know, Sundays are completely off with my partner. My business, I'm totally obsessed about, and so that it fuels that boredom. CrossFit gets rid of the energy. And the diet that I've kind of moved to, or slowly moving to, helps with just decreasing the energy as well. So I feel, you know, there are different spectrums for everything, but you know, I think there was a big sort of ADHD move in like the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, and I just wonder how many kids that were diagnosed were eating Fruit Loops every morning. Like do you know what I mean? Like I just think there are so many things in our life that we're fucking up as a modern society that you can actually filter it in the right way. You know, at least for me. Maybe I'm not the end of the spectrum.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So it works really well. I just limit my sugar, try to eat good, healthy food, and do things that satisfy the person I am. You know?
You tailor it for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, everyone's got different things of other things, you know, whether I was diagnosed with ADHD or not. Like, this is just the way that I feel like I need to live. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
So, Rosie, you were talking about earlier you're involved in the AFL. You said that before at the start of the show.
Yeah.
AFL kind of stuff. What are you doing at the moment? Like, what's a week look like for you?
Okay, so I work for The Front Bar, which is a show on Channel 7 with Mick Malloy and Sam Pang. So that's a football show. So I write for that 3 days a week. I work on The Weekly with Charlie Pickering 3 days a week. So that's a show on the ABC. It's very news-based. So that's why when you said you don't read the news, I was like, fuck, that fascinates me because, you know, I'm so caught up in this 24-hour news cycle because I'm always online just seeing it refresh and the bullshit that flows through there. And, it skips through most of the world because no one needs to be up to date, but they need to put content out there. So they're always filling it. So that's like 3 days a week on each show over 4 days. So I'm kind of smashed from Monday to Thursday. And then comedy festival at the moment, and then just do a bit of radio here and there. And I've got my AFL footy podcast, Junk Time.
Yeah, nice.
So that's on, record that Sunday Arvos, and then at the moment trying to write a book as well. So
oh, really?
Yeah, bit going on.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So I went overseas with my dad a few years ago, so I'm writing a book about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because that was a fucking nightmare.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Give us what's a sort of
he's
insane.
Mate,
That's so good.
he's all right. He just hated everything. Like
really?
everything. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Paris, mate. He hated Paris.
Really?
Oh.
Why?
Just reckon it stunk like cat's piss. Reckons everyone was unfriendly. It's like they weren't.
I've heard that before, though.
They were really nice to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't it a thing that French people are super obnoxious unless you like can speak a bit here and there? Or?
Well, that's kind of the rumor. But when he came back, he's like, "Oh, they were rude." I'm like, "Who? Who was rude to us?" Like, well, they were fine.
Yeah.
And this one guy, we got stuck in a car park trying to get a hire car out, and you know when you got to hit the button to talk to security and stuff. Well, it was all in French, and the guy was behind us, and he came over and he did it all for us and could speak English and helped us out of the car park. And I was like, what about that guy? Couldn't have been more helpful, you know? And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess that was all right. It's like, yeah. So things like that. He'd never travelled before and, he'd never been outside of Australia.
Oh, really?
Before. Well, he was born in Germany but came here when he was 2.
Gotcha.
And, he wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
And it was not easy.
That's classic.
So I'm writing a book about that.
So, okay, that's classic.
Yeah.
So it's a non-fiction, obviously? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it should be fun. And I have done a comedy festival show about it. So the show does exist.
Right.
I just need to flesh it out a bit more.
Yes. Oh, that's classic. So does your dad know you're writing it?
Yeah, he's aware. He's aware. He was a part of the last show, and this is like so the show did really well because it just tapped into travel and traveling with your parents. People just came to it, and so the Herald Sun wanted to do a photo shoot with us. And so I was like, Dad, I need you for a photo shoot. He's like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, mate, because he's really reluctant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, mate, I need it. I need it for publicity. And he goes, well, they can blur my face out. I'm like, you're not a fucking pedophile, mate. Like, we're not blurring your face out. And so we got it to the point where he was holding suitcases in front of him and it blocked out his face. And that's how he was happy, yeah.
Really?
Oh, he just didn't want to do it. I'm like, I need this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'll do it, but I don't want my face on.
What a classic.
They later found out that he actually was a pedophile. So,
yeah. So that's the last chapter
Yeah,
of the
that was
book.
like the
but,
fact the bloke's face we blurred out 3 weeks ago on Crime Stoppers.
Fuck,
chapter of the book.
fuck, he's familiar.
Better check those suitcases.
Yeah.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah, sweet.
So that's kind of my life at the moment. So it's busy, but it's really enjoyable. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy everything I do. And,
Yeah,
you know,
perfect.
the podcast Junk Time is it's really good fun.
Yeah,
Just
it's
get
going
to
well.
say shit that you don't hear on radio, and
Yep.
I love my footy.
Yeah, for sure. That was something that you were a little bit quicker to get to that spot with the podcast. I was very happy being my true self straight away. And Bill, I guess just the mic freaked him out a little bit, but he was also very happy to speak his mind completely straight off the bat. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is my first real sort of intro to a personal brand, really, But I guess it all came crashing down when we did a show about the first time we ejaculated about 50 shows in. So that was a good one.
Popular.
Yeah. Not
I
really.
said there was one story that I wouldn't tell, and then I told it.
Yeah, you
about
told it.
80 episodes in.
Yeah, that's right.
Involved a ladyboy and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that's great. So
It's
one thing I wanted to ask you, Rosie, as well, like all these comedians, obviously he's just done a wee. Fucking hell, what a comedy of errors.
That's classic. Ziggy,
Mate.
for everyone listening at home, Ziggy
Sorry,
the dog
Rosie.
has just
all right.
urinated on the green mat here. And
Didn't piss on me. It's okay.
that's the first time I've seen Rosie a little bit complacent here. He's looking a little bit
He's
edgy.
not into it, is he?
No, not at all.
I'm not into it either, really.
He's a clean man.
Ziggy, mate, you lost your balls yesterday. You do that again. Tell you what, your dick's going as well, mate.
Yeah, lose the snossage.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that face. He knows what he's done,
He
though.
knows exactly what he's done.
We've all been there.
But
Pissed during a podcast.
yeah, I want to ask, like, all these comedians that don't have as much going on as what you have. You have obviously a number of different jobs inside of comedy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a stand-up, say you're like say you're this young bloke starting out, or say you've moved up a little bit and you got filling some shows at Comedy Festival. But like, what does a year look like for a comedian? Is it all about festivals? Is it all about touring? Is it just like, right, I do Saturday, Sunday shows in the week, and then like, how does it actually work?
Yeah, it's a really tough one. It's because there's people with profile who can make it work year round. Like, say, Dave Hughes or Will Anderson, they could tour the country and, sell out shows around Australia sort of thing.
Yeah.
So when you're first starting out, there's just not that opportunity, just because the rooms that there are in Melbourne, you can't do them every week.
Yeah.
So you can get booked there like every 4-6 weeks, I suppose. So there's just not that much chance to do stand up to a big crowd and earn enough money.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult. Like, for a lot of stand-ups who go, I'm gonna become a full-time stand-up before I or just become a full-time stand-up and quit my job, and you're kind of like, I don't know why you need to quit your job. Like, stick
that's
it
right.
out. You can do both for a little while. It's a bit shit, but
sure.
I'd just keep it there until you get a TV writing job or something that can start paying the bills. Because to just pay it from stand-up would be almost impossible.
Yeah,
Because
right.
there's just not enough paid rooms. Because if you have if you've got rent, say it's $200 a week rent, to get $200 a week consistently out of comedy and live is just not an easy thing when you're starting out. Those gigs just aren't there.
Yeah, for sure.
So there are a lot who just go, I'm going to become full-time comic. You're like, I don't know if you need to do that.
Yeah.
You can take your time. You can do a bit of both. That's kind of what I did until I felt comfortable, and and also there's not a shitload of TV writing gigs out there either.
Yeah, exactly right. But that's the same. I don't know that just sounds very impulsive to me in anything in life. Like, just to throw all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Even people that would just like throw all their savings into capital for a new business or something. It's like, just relax a bit, Like,
Yes.
Just see, but even just see if it's actually something that you really want to do.
Yeah.
Like, you may not want to be a comedian when you find out that what you have to do.
Yeah, put all your eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing it may do for people is once you're committed to it and you realise, I need to work harder because this is it.
Yeah.
I've got no other income, and so you may push a little bit harder, but there's no opportunity. Like, the comedy festival is a chance to make money because people coming to your show, and you're going to get people coming to see you specifically. But outside of that, there's no real opportunity to make a shitload of cash.
No.
Unless you're really well known.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then it's cash cow.
So what is what is the life of? So I know you've got your other jobs, but if someone is out there, maybe listening to the show,
Yeah.
and wants to be a full-time comedian,
Yep.
what does that actually entail? Because Bill says it all the time that, he gets to travel the world, but his job is sending emails. So what's a full-time comedian's life actually like?
Yeah, well, so for me, it's a lot of time spent at home, a lot of time just, reading up on the news and stuff. And depending on the show you're working on, like the front bar, the contact hours are pretty small. I do a lot of stuff from home just because there's no point in sitting in an office. Things happen sporadically and in bits and spurts. So you'll go in for a Thursday show. We'll have a production meeting on a Tuesday for an hour and a bit. And then Wednesday, that's when I write by myself at home.
Right.
And then Thursday, about 5 o'clock, we go in for rehearsal and for the show.
Okay.
So you don't spend a lot of time in there, whereas the weekly with Charlie Pickering, I'm in at the ABC in the offices because you've got to be around other people and you're looking at vision and you're talking to people and you need a lot of feedback in meetings and to run through scripts.
Yep.
So that's kind of more full-time and more full-on than the other show. But both get the same end result. They just are done in different styles.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's same like if you were writing for a sketch show, mostly you would do that from home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Wednesdays are your writing day. So, I mean, how do you just sit down and go, okay, like, how do you start going through a joke here and there? And,
So because it's footy-based, you've already got the topics.
Yep.
And then they'll give you a rundown of what's going to be in the show. So you kind of start typing that out and you go, all right, the topic is like, a game in Shanghai. So then you'll just start writing jokes about that. So they'll give you the topics and then you just start writing to that.
Yep.
Stand-up's a little bit harder to write for because it's a blank slate. You just got a white piece of paper there that you can just write whatever you want. So that can be a bit more difficult because you're like, fuck, where do I start?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm always, anything that happens, always jot down ideas so you can write it down and then work on it at a later date.
Yeah. And I guess I feel like, I don't know, is self-deprecation an easy thing to fall back to? Like, is it something that you can always, if you can look at yourself objectively and go, I suck here,
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to know your weaknesses because if you don't, then you're fucking deluded.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, you just can't, like for any of us, you just can't believe you're infallible.
No, for sure.
That you've got no weaknesses because everyone does. And if you can make fun of them and know them, then it's just a lot easier to be able to pick up where, the bits that you probably need to work on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you can overdo self-deprecation. Like the audience are like,
sure.
all right, we're here for a reason. We like you.
Yeah.
So just fucking back off on that.
Well, that's the thing because it's like we get it. You're fat,
Yeah. It becomes tiresome.
That's
if
right.
If you keep going there.
I just feel like is there maybe like a stereotype with people that are overweight, like always laughing about the fact that they're overweight? I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and it's like they say it because they're comfortable with it, but then it almost gets to that tipping point. You're like, are you comfortable with it, or are you just saying and you're making us uncomfortable about it?
Yeah,
you fat fuck.
Yeah,
it's a hard thing because everyone wants to do self-deprecation and show I'm comfortable with it, but then it goes to the point where you're like, you're protesting too much now.
Exactly.
You're making me feel weird.
Yeah. 100%. I feel like a good sort of half and half of that is like you make fun of yourself. You admit that you're screwing here, but then that failure, you can also relate that to a thing that we all do as human beings.
Yeah. And that's what people like. Yeah, when you do something or you talk about something that everyone does and they're like, yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
People love getting shit pointed out like that.
100%.
So they can nudge their friend next to them. Oh, I do that. Yeah. They love it.
You're a cockhead. You do that as well.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
Thinks I'm a dick. For sure. Yeah.
That's great. Hey, Tom, you reckon we should do 6 from 6 with Rosie? I don't know if we did it last time. We would have, but
We've
the
changed
questions would have been different.
We've changed 2 questions.
Oh, yeah. I reckon we give it a crack.
You want to go 6
Yeah,
from 6?
I reckon.
Let's do
So
it.
what's
Do you
your
remember
name?
6 from 6 last time?
Absolutely not.
So, do you remember us?
Vaguely. When was it? It was like 2 years ago, wasn't it? Hadn't I just come back
it's
from
about
Afghanistan?
A year and a half
Did you?
ago, I reckon.
Would you in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Oh, you don't remember it now?
No, I literally don't. Were you in Afghanistan?
Yeah, for the gigs for the troops.
Oh,
The
yes. I
Australian
do remember
troops.
that.
Yeah. So
yes.
last year I went to Baghdad
Oh, yes.
in Iraq.
How was that?
Shit.
It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was really cool. Got to
Yeah.
shoot AK-47s because they were training up the at that stage. They were training up the Iraqi army to take back Mosul from
Wow.
ISIS.
Oh, yep.
And so they were training up all the Iraqi army dudes. And so that was
hell.
really, really fascinating.
Geez, that'd give you some perspective, surely.
Oh, yeah. Seeing those dudes on the base, and because because there was a tendency, particularly in Afghanistan, when they'd be training up the local troops, they'd go a bit rogue and they'd end up turning on the troops.
Yep.
So they'd let them shoot on the range, then take the weapons off them and wouldn't let them just sit around with weapons. They were just like, you're too volatile.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they were telling us the one thing that the Iraqi troops do, they can't train out of them. So they train them how to fight, how to take back the city. But they have a thing called Inshallah, which is God willing.
Yep.
So if God wills it, it will happen, right? And so they go, these guys will just fucking run from behind a wall and just start shooting, right? Just stand in an open street. And they're like, if God wills it, I'll live. And they're like, yeah, but if you didn't be a dickhead and bolt out from behind that fucking wall, God would will that you'd still be alive. And so they have so much faith in, if God wants it, I will live. And that's why they said you can't train that out of them. And I think that's why them becoming like suicide bombers and stuff, you get into their headspace of how that works for them. It's like God wills it.
Totally.
So if I get blown to bits, that's what God wanted. And so it's a really hard thing. So they're trying to teach them tactics, but they'll do random shit like that.
Yeah.
And
I
you just
remember
go,
that.
don't do that.
Yeah.
That goes against everything we're trying to teach. We've been taught, and you guys are insane.
Well, I remember
That's
that in
so
Jocko
fucking
Willing's
crazy.
book. He talks about how the US Navy SEALs were trying to train the Iraqi forces to take back their own city. And there was a huge protest amongst them. This was in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And huge protest against them. He's like, hey, look, if we don't train them to take back their own city, we're going to be stuck here for the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
mission incomplete. you
Yes.
know? So it's like
they're going to have a skin in the fight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, we'll be able to do it because we're way better than any sort of rogue little ISIS thing here and there. But we can't. We've got other shit to do. You know?
And
But
you need them to take back their own stuff.
you have to. Yeah. And that also, like, taking back their own city or their own space just gives them a profound sense of patriotism.
Yes.
That they want that area as well.
Yeah, they want to keep it. They want to maintain the peace that they fought so hard to get.
Yeah, exactly. And to
Absolutely.
take back your own city, kind of thing. Yeah. But I got to shoot AK-47, so that was pretty exciting.
That just go nuts. Is it hard?
It wasn't too hard. So we're on the range, you're lying down, and we had the bulletproof vest on as well. So you didn't really get the sense of the kickback. But
Righto.
it was just fun to hold
Hold a gun.
your weapon of choice from a terrorist.
Yeah,
Never
exactly.
Pretty
shot a
great.
gun, eh?
Yeah, I've never shot a gun.
Never
No.
shot a gun.
Haven't you?
No, I've never shot a gun, no.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
suppose
neither.
I hadn't. But the last time I went before Afghanistan, we went on the range with the SAS.
Did you really?
So they had
Gosh.
all their weapons lined up, and we just moved from one to the next.
Yeah,
and that
that's
was
so sick.
fucking
The SAS.
next level, man.
Mate,
That was great.
They're next level, hey?
Oh, yeah.
They're the big dogs.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They really are.
One of our mutual friends, we're trying to get him on the show, and I've wanted to get him on the show for ages, but he was in the SAS for 7 years.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, I can understand the reluctancy to get on the show because they're just so high up. But I just imagine, like, what they would... I like how...
There's not a lot he can talk about.
Well, no, exactly. But one thing I do notice about him is that him and a mate of his that... his mate, he's pretty high up in the police force as well. They always stand with their back to a wall,
Yeah.
so they can just see the area.
Yeah,
you just notice
yeah.
little behavioural traits. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
Always surveying the scene.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's
Insane,
fascinating.
isn't it? Yeah,
They're always good in get you in a choker hold.
Yeah.
Just control the situation.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm just having a beer.
Yeah. You could go rogue.
yeah, that's fair. God willing.
Yeah.
That's a bit right.
What a classic.
Yeah.
I wanted you to. I tried to tell your. Remember that joke you told me? The
Oh, yeah.
You know the one? Do you reckon you can tell it on the air?
Oh, yeah.
I need to tell Rosie.
It's a politically incorrect joke.
Yeah, but
it's not my joke.
I know it's not your joke, but like the one that because I don't know, and I know this is very like, oh Rosie, tell us a joke. Like,
Yeah.
it's not what, but I know one joke, right? Because I went to the comedy festival with George the other day. We were having dinner. She's like, you know any jokes? I'm like, yeah, I know one, and it was in a restaurant. And I delivered the punchline like I whispered. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. You know the joke.
No, you got to say
tell
it right.
Rosie the joke. I want to see. I want
Okay,
to see.
it's really dodge.
Tell that intro story. Remember the intro.
Oh, the actual story.
Yeah. No. But I'll let you tell. I'll let you
Okay,
tell
well,
it.
so one of my mates, his dad was on one of the planes for in 9/11.
Yep.
So for United 93, I can't remember which one that was. Oh no, it would have been the other ones that went into one of the towers.
Yeah.
And called him up on the way. On the way before it was going into the tower, and it really fucked my mate around because, the last words that his dad actually said to him was "Allahu Akbar." It's very
Funny.
politically
Great.
It's great, eh?
Yeah.
Shocking joke. But it's just, the first time I ever heard it, I was just shocked.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
He was like, thanks, Dad.
I love that joke.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's very good.
So, Rosie, let's do 6 from 6. We'll get you out of here. We definitely did this last time, but like I said, we've changed the question. So,
Yeah, sweet.
anyway, we'll see. You might notice a couple of them. So, my first question is favourite travel destination that you've been that you just absolutely love?
Yeah, okay. So I would have been to a few more places since I was last on, but there's a couple there. I loved Barcelona.
Yeah.
I thought Barca was great, but I went to Tokyo, and fucking if that's not the best town in the world, I absolutely adored it. And I love Japan. Like Kyoto was right up there as well.
Yeah.
And Osaka was fantastic. But Tokyo, so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. It's like it's designed by a 4-year-old.
That's
They're like-
exactly what I say about the city.
It's
I
like-
say it's like it's designed by children. I was
so
about to say that.
What do you want? They're like, I want loud noises,
Yeah.
I want toys, and I
Yeah.
want lights.
I
They've
want
gone,
that-
you've got it.
I want that 40-foot building to be two cartoon characters
Yeah.
with large swords and a female with breasts this big.
Yeah.
I want them to be painted on that 40
Really?
foot building.
How amazing
40-story
is
building. Yeah, it's the best.
And the food is great. The
Yeah.
drink, the culture is fantastic. They're so polite. It's so clean.
Yeah.
It's so safe.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. And it is next level. Like so many little neighborhoods and
weird.
stuff. And the
Really?
food,
So weird
food's
too.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
I
I really
loved
wanna
it.
go.
It's just
great.
it's kooky, man. Like we went to the robot restaurant. Do you go to the robot
Oh,
restaurant?
fuck yeah.
Is it great?
Mate, it's what you imagine a robot restaurant would
Really?
be. Yeah,
They
a
just
restaurant
serve
where basically
It's the shittest show. It's really shit. It's almost like it's like a.
it's so shit it's good.
It's like their version of like Dracula's or. Witches in Bridges sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's high tech and they come out playing drums and there's robots and shit and lasers. And then after about 10 minutes, they have a fucking break. You're like, what are you having a break for? Like, it's just started.
Really?
Yeah. And the whole joint is set up. It looks like we went to the bathroom there. It's like this gold toilet. It looked like Saddam Hussein's bathroom. Like, it was just full on.
Yeah, you walk through the joint to get in there, and it's like you walk through rooms that are just like 1,000 small little mirrors on the walls, and you're like, what the fuck? And then they're like, there's a robot band in this
Yeah.
crazy, colourful foyer. It's like you're walking through. It's like you're on acid, actually.
Yeah,
When you're walking
yeah.
through there, it's like you're just like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is
And
going on here?
like Tron, if you've seen that
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
Tron.
Tron's
It's
great.
like that.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
much
real
fun,
weird you
man.
said Tron. I had a genuine hallucination experience on shrooms, and I felt like I was going down the grid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really
Great.
hectic. Really weird. It was a negative experience, but
Really great.
yeah, I nearly died.
Did you
really
play
enjoyed it.
Pachinko when you were over there? You know that
Nah.
game they play?
Nah.
So there's this game, and you stumble across it. It's almost like they look like pokies, like where people play pokies, right? So you go in, and it's the loudest fucking thing you've ever heard. It's just ding, 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 bells and all this sort of shit. And what people do is they get a basket full of ball bearings, probably like maybe a centimetre across or so, and they pour it into the machine, and so they go down the machine, and you've got to move like little paddles and stuff, and you guide the balls, and they go into a slot,
Yeah.
right? But you don't win any money. Or you don't win anything.
Yeah.
You just get more balls to come through.
Really?
And people play it en masse, and they pour thousands of balls in, and it's the loudest fucking thing you've ever heard, and it's packed, and it's run by like the mafia and stuff. Like it's a money spinner.
Yeah.
And it's like they're pokies.
Jeez, that's
It's called
strange.
pachinko. It's fucking
Never played it.
insane.
Yeah. So where's the dopamine kick from that? Balls just-
I couldn't work out how to play it. We
Yeah,
went in there
right.
and we're just like spinning buttons and shit.
Yeah, this is
and it was just really loud, yeah. And the guy's like, oh, you got to try and get it into that bit. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But people, like, it's packed 24/7.
That's
people
insane.
always playing it.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
That scares me a little bit. Where like that's the technology revolution area, and people playing with balls the whole time.
Yeah,
You know,
so I'm
where are we
intrigued.
going?
Maybe you can win money, but I didn't see anyone winning anything. They just won more balls to pour back into the machine. And you buy a basket for like 100 yen or whatever.
Really?
And you get a big basket and pour it in.
100 yen's not cheap, hey?
Oh, I reckon, no, that's probably
You
about
just guessing that, mate?
I don't know. I've got absolutely no idea.
That's
Yeah,
about
what's
10
100
bucks.
of them, mate?
That's about
It's $10.
It's about $10 or so,
I thought
isn't
would
it?
be like-
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't remember.
Yeah.
That's why I questioned Tommy because
Yeah.
I can't remember the exchange rate at all. And Tommy was just like, there's exchange
never
rates
been
that are
there.
like 1,000. It
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
1,000
Never been
yen,
there.
could be a dollar.
Mate,
Yeah.
I've been a
That's
millionaire in Laos.
Yeah, true. Yeah, closest place I've been is Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Nah, Japan's hilarious. My brother just got back from there, actually.
Yeah. I'd recommend it highly.
Yeah. Second question is dream destination, somewhere you haven't been, top of the bucket list.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because I have been kind of thinking about where I'd like to go next. I reckon, probably Mexico would be the next
Yeah, it's
place that I'm
great.
heading to. It's good fun.
Oh yeah.
So I really
Fantastic.
want to do that sort of Mexico City and south, like Oaxaca and all that kind of area. So
Puerto Escondido is really good.
yeah, I'm
Been there
really
a
looking
couple
forward to
times.
that.
Porto's.
And maybe Juarez, see a couple of gun battles.
Yeah, that's right.
Get some
Yeah,
cheap,
we've shot it
get a
okay
couple of
before.
bricks. Yeah.
You know how to handle
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. A couple of bricks of coke.
Yeah.
Be great.
Go.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Be fun. Yeah.
Get back into
I'd
Australia.
blend right in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They look the same.
Yeah. Very Mexican.
With a name like Rozenbachs.
Yeah. No, they're my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So,
Adam, buddy talk.
Yeah.
and my last question is: any books that you recommend to people? Can be any sort of read.
Well, we were talking before we started on this, the Power of Habit, which I've really enjoyed. I thought it was just a great book, and it was just talking about, habits and the way they can help our lives, and the way you can restructure your own to make it, into a positive and help yourself out on a daily basis. It was just a really fascinating read, and how people apply them, particularly to sporting teams. I've really enjoyed the way that they kind of explain that in the book. So, yeah, it's called Power of Habit. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, I haven't read that one.
Good one. Really
Yep,
good one.
nice one.
There's a little bit at the end of that, which is great. And there was this example of someone that used the power of habit, that understanding of it, to change. And so he figured out. So they always talk about the habit and then the reward. And you can change the reward, but you can't change the habit. So if your habit from memory. So this bloke at 3 p.m. every day at work, he'd always get himself a donut. And if you take a bit of time to realise what that is, the habit, or I guess the trigger, maybe it's trigger's a better word. The trigger is boredom. And he wants a break. So instead of changing he changed the reward from eating a donut to go and talking with his mate. And just that little change, he lost 5-10 kilos over 6 months or something, because you can change the reward. It's a great little book.
Yeah.
No, that's
and
good.
little tricks like that.
Yeah.
The fascinating one was it the guy with Alzheimer's who couldn't remember. He couldn't remember basically anything in the house, but he always remembered the house because of habit. And even though he couldn't remember that his habit that was so ingrained, he would go for a walk every day, and when he came back, he wouldn't know anyone that's in the house. He wouldn't know where shit was in the house, but he knew the house.
Yeah.
It was a really fascinating read.
Yeah. And you can understand why it happens. Like a survival, we can only process 1 kill at a time. If we were thinking about putting the accelerator down and then
Yeah,
changing
that's
the
right.
gear the whole
Driving's
time,
a perfect example.
you'd be fucked.
Yeah, you could drive home with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't. You can,
We all do.
Yeah. We all-
Or one eye closed while you're drinking.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Shoot
Watch
your gun.
this, boys. Watch this, fellas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're up, Tommy.
Okay. So what do you like to do when you have some spare time? Get a bit of downtime in you.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I don't get a lot of it, and I find that really hard to. But in the lead up to the festival, I won't allow myself time for that. Like if I go to the movies or something like that, I'm like, you should be writing. Get really strong on myself. So just to be able to sit down and watch a movie or go to the movies or something like that, just to be able to switch off for 2 or 3 hours is massive for me, and just to not think about comedy and what's coming up next, and what am I not doing in this moment? I find that really hard. So I love going and exercising and stuff, because that's one time where I can switch off for an hour and just not. It's like my meditation, as I'm sure it is for you blokes. But yeah, if I could do anything, it would just be to sit in a park and read and just switch off and not think about, should be doing something. Why aren't you doing this? Send an email.
Yeah.
What's happening here? So that is the ultimate pleasure, which I don't get to do enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know that I'm relaxed if I'm reading,
Yeah.
because that means that I'm comfortable and I've given myself a break.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What about someone you look up to? Who's your favourite comedian of all time? Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple. There's one guy called Norm Macdonald.
I don't know McDonald, yeah.
Yeah, who's like a Canadian who
never
was
heard
on Saturday Night Live, and
Okay.
I fucking love him and love his stuff. His book was a bit shit, and it was really disappointing actually. But
Right.
I really, really enjoy his style. He's
Yeah.
very dark. And
He's on a sitcom. He was on one sitcom at some point, wasn't he, that we all knew? And I
yeah,
can't remember which one it was.
Was
The
this
big
not Saturday Night
tall-
Live? Or was it a sitcom?
No, it was a sitcom. He was on a sitcom. I know him from a sitcom. Maybe I'm wrong. I know who Norm Macdonald is there.
yeah. Was he on the Drew Carey show?
Yeah.
Bit, maybe?
Yeah, I think he was on the Drew Carey show.
Yeah. But he's very
think-
funny.
Yeah, right.
funny. I really like him.
You can see he's on. He's in that Jerry Seinfeld Netflix in comedians writing in cars with
Oh,
comedians.
is
I
he?
watched one.
Oh,
with
right,
Jim,
okay.
Oh, yeah, it's really-
not Jim Carrey, with Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
He's very
yep.
funny.
Yeah, he's
To watch
good.
that.
Yeah.
He's
And finally, if you could have a dinner, a sit-down dinner,
Oh, yeah?
3 people you'd invite. Who'd you get down?
Who would I get down? I'd love to get Vladimir Putin. I'd love to know what's going on. Like he's got a plan for world domination
For sure.
and just to get a bit of a heads up, just to know where I should be in a certain point in life.
He'd be a clap. Just quickly, do you know estimate how much he's worth? His net worth?
Oh, he's definitely a billionaire, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Multi-billion.
Because he's got all that. He tapped into all the oil and stuff, like with all the oligarchs.
Yep. Without looking at this, just let
30 bill?
$200 billion. How fucked is that? I would not have thought of that.
Is that would put him nearly top of the pops worldwide, nearly?
Yeah, he's
Jeff
He's running
Bezos
pretty hard.
Yeah,
That's-
Jeff Bezos is. They reckon Jeff Bezos will be the first trillionaire,
Yeah.
or Elon Musk, because
Yeah.
their companies are growing so
Yeah.
fast, depending on how Tesla and SpaceX go. But I think Bezos is only like 300 billion, 400 billion.
He's not much, is he?
Who else?
that's-
Stephen
that's-
King.
that's
I'd love
Oh,
to-
Stephen King.
Love to sit down with Stephen King
Yeah.
because he's just. I haven't read one of his books in a long time, but
Have you seen it?
I haven't. Is it
Oh,
good?
Yeah, it's good.
So good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking good.
So good.
I need to reread
Yeah.
the book because I read that when I was younger,
Oh,
and I
nice.
remember loving it. But
Yeah.
It'd be
mate.
fascinating chatting to him.
It would be. Yeah. I just watched 1922, which is on Netflix. It's one of his books.
Okay.
Really great too.
Yeah?
Like he's just his mind is warped.
Did he
man.
write? Did he write? Am I tripping out? Did he write Green Mile and Shawshank as well? Are they?
Yes.
Are they Stephen King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. He wrote Shawshank.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Shawshank, I think he wrote, and I could be wrong here, but there was a book of 4. It was only a short story, but it was written as, I think, Richard Bachman. He wrote these books under a pseudonym for,
Gotcha.
I don't know why, maybe take the pressure off him. And I think that may have been in that one. He also wrote Running Man.
Really?
Which was
Really?
Arnie.
the
I used to
Arnie.
love that movie. That was my
Yeah.
favourite Arnie movie.
And it
Wow.
was a really good, it was a short story.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was great.
That's incredible, isn't it?
the
Someone that
books
just has
he's
a talent.
pumped out are
Oh.
just phenomenal.
Yes.
Like,
I
it
always
is
thought he was a
fucking next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought he was just a horror writer. That's why I've never really read most of his stuff. But the further you go into it, like all those things, all those stories that we just mentioned, there's only one of them that's not even really horror, which is it. You know,
Yeah.
like Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption,
No.
Running Man, like they're just epic stories.
Yeah.
There's a great one called, again, I think it's a short story, Secret Window, Secret Garden. Which
Secret Garden, the movie.
Well, Johnny Depp
Secret
was
Window?
Secret
in,
Window.
in the movie.
Secret Window.
And
Yeah.
the movie wasn't as good,
Secret
but the book
Garden's,
is...
Yes.
Wind in my hair and the sand
Yeah.
at my feet.
yeah, that doesn't sound very Stephen King.
No, that was very flat too. Secret. I've seen that one, Secret Window. That was a good little thriller, but it wasn't an amazing movie. I imagine the book would be a little better.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Last one, mate. Two
Oh,
blokes there.
trying
Wanna
to think
mix
of-
it up the gender roles there.
I'm trying to think who else. No. I'll Dave Grohl.
Oh, Dave Grohl.
Love
Great.
to sit down with Dave Grohl. He's
Yeah.
just I have met him. I met him at Triple M
Did
once
you
when I was
really?
working there. Yeah, and he was
Oh,
awesome.
fuck.
And he's just a fun bloke, and just be great to sit down and chat music with him.
Yeah.
I'd
So
love
would
that.
would you want 90s Dave Grohl or modern day Dave Grohl?
No, I reckon modern day. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I went and saw the Foo Fighters. They were out in Melbourne about 3 months ago now.
Okay.
And they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They're just good, fun rock band. And,
Yeah.
I don't. The bands that I see are usually playing in pubs, so it's just good to see some good stadium rock. It was great.
For sure.
Great. Well, Ads, give us a comedy festival plug.
Oh, yeah. So my show is called Hold My Beer. I've got a couple more to go. Tickets at comedyfestival.com.au. So by the time this comes out, it will be Friday 13th and Saturday 14th, 8:15 p.m. at the European Beer Cafe.
Perfect. Love it.
Beautiful. Anywhere else people can find you, mate? Anything else?
You can go to
social
my
medias or
website,
websites?
rosie.com.au, or else check out my podcast, Junk Time AFL, if you're into your footy.
Great.
Cool.
Rosie's with a Z?
It is, yes.
Perfect. Rosie with a Z.com.
Alrighty. Well, mate, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
Round
Beautiful.
2, and that's a wrap.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.